good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are watching from. Hello. Hi. Going live. I always get asked to please post my Instagram lives on YouTube, and I always forget to record it horizontally, but here we are. I remember today. All right, perfect. It looks like we have a lot of people jumping on. Hello from Airway. Oh, hi, neighbor. How about those Chiefs? Okay, so we hosted a Super Bowl party, and it's always funny because I like watching football, but I'm not severely invested in any of the teams, except I am a Seahawks fan just because we live in the Pacific Northwest. But they weren't even, they didn't even make the playoffs. So for this Super Bowl, I was more excited to watch the halftime show because Usher is, of course, my era of music. I think his Confessions CD came out in 2004, which is the year I graduated high school. So I'm super excited to see him do a comeback. And then I'm sorry, but I was severely disappointed by the halftime show. I didn't think it was that good. I did like some of the guests he brought on, but that's okay. And then, of course, I'm a commercials person. I like to watch commercials. So I guess I'm more excited on the other things besides the game. But I know everyone was kind of freaking out because Swiftie fans out there and everything. But I'm over the Chiefs. Usher was way better than the football game. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. So I wanted to pop on, now that we've given a couple minutes for everyone to jump on, I wanted to pop on. It's been a long time since I've done a live. It's been a long time since I posted to YouTube. It's been since April, since my mom passed, that I've shown up on YouTube, except for one video that was requested that I did. So I wanted to come on and kind of give an update on all the different things. Now, my mom unexpectedly passed in April, and if you've been following my story, you know that I started another passion hobby that's now turned into a growing little passion business, honored and dedicated for my mom. That I would definitely say is a passion project because it is helping me through the grieving journey of a significant loss in my life. A little background on my mom. My mom unexpectedly, when I say unexpectedly, I mean I was talking to her and laughing with her an hour before she passed. She was totally fine. And then she was airlifted to a hospital here in Spokane, and she was gone within an hour. They didn't even have enough time to even get equipment on her to get her vitals. It was that fast. The most frustrating thing about this for me is we waited 5 months. They had the pastor come in when she had passed to talk to the family and to talk to us. And one of the things that they asked was if we wanted to do an autopsy. And of course, we were all for it because we were like, we want to know what happened. How does this happen to an extremely healthy individual? My mom could run circles around me. Okay, you think I'm a busy, crazy, active person? My mom, she was riding horses, she was bucking bales, she was doing all the things, running around like a crazy person. We're still, to the day she passed, working 2 or 3 different jobs, cleaning the church and cleaning houses and running the front desk at the pharmacy where she worked. She was the healthiest. I don't even remember ever even seeing my mom sick in bed. She was that healthy. So we wanted to know, what does this to somebody? We waited 5 months to get the autopsy back. And you know what the result was? Inconclusive. I can't tell you how absolutely devastating that is when you lose a loved one unexpectedly to not have answers. It is soul and heart crushing. And so many people have come to me and say, well, it doesn't matter because nothing's going to bring your mom back. And I get that. But here is my thing with it. I need a place. I need something where I can place that anger. I can't blame cancer. I can't blame a disease. I can't blame a heart attack. I can't blame sickness. It's like I have, in the grieving process, it's like going like this. You have these bits of sadness and then anger. The sadness and the hurt is what I pour into Pine Manor Naturals. That's why that exists for me. But that anger, I have nowhere to place it. And so that has been the most frustrating and the hardest thing on my grieving journey, is not knowing why my mom is not here. To have my children ask me why grandma is not here and I don't have any answers. That is absolutely crushing. Especially James being old enough to understand a person passing away, going to heaven, right? He asked me, Mom, we just spoke to grandma. Why isn't she here? What do you say? As a mom whose heart is so broken, and you're watching the face of your little boy trying to explain why our loved one is not here. It's just been so I stepped away from YouTube and I stepped away from a lot of media. I've gotten a lot of calls from the news and all these things to do interviews, and I don't want to do them because I'm not ready to be on camera in that way yet. And I've gotten questions, Miko, when are you coming back to YouTube? And I feel horrible because I don't have an answer. I thought it was going to be this month, but now I'm struggling with trying to figure out a schedule. Now, if you're a full-time stay-at-home mom, then trying to find a schedule, especially recording video when there's no background noise. Like, luckily, the reason I'm doing this live today, thank my husband, my wonderful husband, who has our son downstairs in the basement right now playing with him, so I can do this video without any background noise or crying. So, yes. So for YouTube, here's where we are. I understand there are different audiences on different social media platforms, right? I've gotten a lot of questions, why aren't I on TikTok? I think TikTok is a big black hole. I think too many people spend their energy and time in that hole flipping through videos, and then you look up and you're like, oh my God, it's been 3 hours. Okay, I know, because I've been there. And so, I haven't gotten into TikTok. If I post something on Instagram that I feel I can post to TikTok, then I will. YouTube's a different story. I have a little more heart with YouTube because it's a great place for long form video. It's a great place for me to dive a little bit deeper into the details of some of the subjects and content with money and finances that I feel are extremely important. Does anyone watch long form video anymore? I don't know. Right? We're all used to TikTok and our 30-second or 15-second reels where we're trying to learn very intensive concepts, very big concepts in 30-second, 15-second bits. And I feel like when that happens and when we expect that type of education and learning, right, in our attention span, we train our attention span to only be 15 to 30 second with these videos and content that we're listening to and watching, I feel like so much gets missed. I will always be a long form video girly. I think it's extremely important. Why? Because I am a visual learner, and I know being here, being the budget mom, teaching finances and money, being a content creator, money expert here online, there are millions of you out there also who are visual learners. This is who I cater to. And I like YouTube too as well because you can break your videos into chapters. People can rewind and pause and stop and come back. Hey, I get it with your busy life. Sometimes you have to pause a video and come back to it, right? When you lay your head on a pillow, you can finish that video. I get it. So I do like being on YouTube. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to record a lot of the content that I'm doing on Instagram in horizontal form as well, and we're going to post it on YouTube. What does that look like? A lot of my morning stories with my financial routine, all those videos that is full of just these little nuggets of information and knowledge where you watch it and you're like, I want to come back to that. I want to re-watch that so I can do my expense tracker as she is doing it. We're going to try to get that on horizontal video. I'm going to be posting that on YouTube. Now, of course, I am going to try to get back to the real life budgets. I feel that is so extremely important because, yes, it's helpful to see my real numbers, my real budget, but it's even more helpful when it comes from different perspectives, different circumstances, different lifestyles. I want you to be able to see that uniqueness and everybody's different lifestyles and financial situation and lives. That's extremely important because my way is not just the right way. The right way is the way that works for you. I'm here to lay that budget by paycheck foundation to financial fulfillment in your life. It is up to you to do the building. So I'm so here for the real life budget help. Yes, I love when you use the Excel templates, love the real life budgets. You could almost use the shorts aspect. Yes, that's what we are also going to be utilizing, the shorts aspect on YouTube as well. Yeah, how do we get to do our budget? So if you're interested in submitting your information for a real life budget for me to do, now when I do someone's budget, a real life budget, my real life budgets aren't like others that you see on socials. They're not in a 30-second, a minute clip where they simply write it down on a budget template and then tell you what they would do differently. That's not what I want to do with my real life budgets. What I want to do is work you through the entire process of the budget by paycheck method. Come to that conclusion at the end, and then we'll work out some of the pain points of what that person is going through. Not my pain points, not my values, not my goals. Okay, I can't sit here and say what I would do differently if I don't understand the person submitting the information. I don't want just someone's numbers and for me to put them on a template. That's not what I'm here for. Learning, I feel like that knowledge and growth comes from watching me behind the scenes kind of thought process on why I make the decisions I do when I work through that budget by paycheck process. You can watch my real life budgets highlight bubble here on Instagram, the little circles on my profile. Just scroll through until you see real life budgets. In there, it's going to show you how to submit your information and even give you some free worksheets that you can fill out that makes it extremely helpful to submit your information because it goes through exactly what we need. Okay. I'll tell you my whole life to have you do my budget would be amazing. I get a lot of, Kamika, will you ever do one-on-one coaching? Right now, I just don't have the capacity, mentally or physically, time-wise, to do one-on-one coaching. I did meet with clients for over 8 years in the investment advisory industry. I'm a little bit over it, even after being out for 9 years. One-on-one client work is extremely different. And so that's the update with YouTube. What's going on with some of the new products we have coming out? So first, I am going to be down in our new warehouse all day Saturday, all day Sunday, getting it set up and ready for us to work and start shipping out from that new location by Monday. So I'm essentially spending Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What does that look like? I'm getting the office set up, getting the printers set up, getting the computers and internet set up, getting our packing station set up, getting all of our product stations set up. I like a very organized warehouse because I believe in efficiency when it comes to places like that, especially when you're working with multiple products, multiple shipments, international and domestic. It's a whole thing for me. So I'm going to be down there. We are going to start selling. We got our restock of our budget by paycheck workbooks with the reinforced cover. We have those in, and we're going to be selling those here shortly. Right now, we're doing our huge warehouse sale, blowout sale. I'm trying to clear out and make this transition a little bit easier for me so I don't have to move all this inventory. That is happening and going on right now. Just check out my stories for more information about that. I can do a little sneak peek. Let me grab it. Okay, so for a really long time, I've been wanting to come out with some really cute sweatshirts, and you know me, I am not a fan of merch. I am just not. However, I had the designs in my head. I'm like, I have to make these into sweatshirts. They're going to be released soon. Of course, I'm going to be modeling them for you in little pictures for selling them, but a little sneak peek of what we have. So if it's mirrored for you, it says, remember your why. This is a sweatshirt. And then we put the logo right here on the sleeve, TBM logo. You can see it's also tagless. And then the one I was actually wearing yesterday. Okay, so you have a little sunshine in the front. And then, of course, you have the good morning on the back. Because that everyone knows that to be me. When you hear my video, good morning, that's me. So we have those that are going to be releasing soon. I also have a 100 envelope savings challenge. It's really hard to explain this product. It's freaking amazing and adorable. That's coming soon. It comes into, we mail it to you. It comes in a little box. Oh my gosh, I'm so in love. We also just released our budget by paycheck budget tracker pad. That was also a new thing. Wallets are coming soon with the brand new exclusive design for the envelopes as well. So a lot of things happening and coming very soon. We're just trying to get transitioned into this new warehouse before we start kind of moving things. I don't want the mail carriers to come to our old address when we're at our new address. I just want to get the transition completely done. So, oh, make one with your millionaire quote. Oh yeah, stop leaving the big dreams to the millionaires. I actually have that on the sign right behind me. Okay, where can we order the wallet? So we'll be posting all this. They're not available yet. They're coming soon. Yes, happy for the merch. Well, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I've been wearing them all the time. In fact, I was wearing this white one yesterday. I wore it for the Super Bowl party. I have shown my wallets, yes, on stories. Absolutely. Are you going to come out with new leverage planners this year? Great question. We are not. The reason being is so I'm a debt-free company, which means that anytime I offer new products, I am writing checks for these production runs. And these production runs aren't small because the more you can order, the better discount I can get, the more affordable price I can offer to you. And so I try to order a lot at one time. So when I'm writing checks, I'm writing a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 check. And so we had, as a debt-free company, sometimes I have to do trade-offs. And I have to ask myself, do we offer the leverage planner even though we have a ton in inventory still? They're undated. You can use them forever, any year. They're undated, evergreen content sitting there all in inventory. Or do I want to try to offer something new that could also be helpful to community members? This year, we decided to tackle the wallets, the exclusive envelopes with the wallets, the 100 envelope challenge, as well as the merch and the tracker pads. That's what we decided to do instead of a run of the leverage planner. We have a ton of the Happy Floral Design Leverage Planner, big and small, still in inventory for you to buy if you want to get a new one. Yes, offer a vacation planner. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I'm getting through all the comments. I'm excited for the wallet and shirt. Ooh, okay, totes would be awesome. All right, okay, so I'm also here to answer I would love a combination of the LRP and BVP workbook. We get that a lot, but do you know how big that book would be? It'd be this big. Prices. We have listed out all the prices, and I've talked about the prices. I will make sure that, Ryan, can we make sure to put stories up with the prices of everything? Is there a planner for being debt-free? Absolutely. We have the budget by paycheck debt-free printable version, comes in PDF. You print it off at home. Okay, so glad you're doing live. Lost my job and still following your budget. Thank you for your system. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes. Are you going to release a new BBP in October? We are. We're going to be releasing a brand new budget by paycheck workbook. Let me talk about this for a second. Our brand new budget by paycheck workbooks that we're going to be releasing this year are ones that you have never seen before. We changed it that much. I made a ton of changes this year to the workbook in a way where I felt it would bring more value to your life when it comes to managing your money. I'm going to be talking about all the changes, but we're also offering it in a small size this year, just like our leverage planner. So we're going to have the full size and then we're going to have the small size offered. I will make sure to go over all the changes this year when we get that mock-up so you can see exactly what's changing, because it is a lot. In fact, it is so much I don't even think I can remember all of it to say out loud right now. Okay, miss seeing Ryan. Yes. Yes. Ryan's still here. Absolutely. Yes, she is still here. Okay, can you quickly explain how to budget getting paid once a month? Husband just got a promotion and that is how he is getting paid. So here's the thing. Once a month, still same way as you would do it by paycheck. The only difference is you're going to have a longer time frame before check-ins with your budget, right? I went through this transition when I went from working my full-time job to working for myself. I went from getting paid twice a month on the 5th and the 20th to getting paid once a month on the 1st. Here's what I did to prepare myself for that transition. I knew that instead of going 2 weeks with the in between a check-in with my finances and budget, right? Checking in with my bills and my spending and the things that I do on my budget days. It was going from 2 weeks to 30 days. I knew that. So I created a dedicated check-in day on the 15th, middle of the month. What's happening with my spending? How much money do I still have in my cash envelopes? So I didn't necessarily have to get paid to create that check-in day. It was me just saying and being aware of, okay, what's going on with my cash that I have to spend, because I use the cash envelope method, and where do I need to be at this point to get me to the end of that month? One, create that check-in day because you're going to have a longer time frame. Number two, be aware of your cash spending. If you are a cash envelope user, remind yourself, you have a longer time frame. You have to you have to go longer with your cash. You have to spread that out. You're used to going every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks of spending my money, of my cash. That's why that check-in day is so important. So you have to be more aware of your cash spending. Yes. Is there something for behind on bills? Yes. I did a whole in-depth article on how to budget when you are behind on bills. One thing that's really important to be aware of if you are trying to get caught up and you're behind on bills and you're trying to budget, prioritization is everything. And to be really prioritized with what you have going on, you need to be aware of where your money is going and where it needs to go. It means you have to sit down and get over that hump and that fear of the unknown and write down your fixed expenses, write down all of your debt. Don't worry about savings outside of your emergency fund right now. There is a full article on thebudgetmom.com. Scroll to the bottom of the website. There's a search bar. Type in behind on bills. The article will pop up. It is a game changer. Okay. Do you have anything about preparing for retirement? Absolutely. I do a lot of investing videos. In fact, I have a whole investing highlight bubble that will take you down an investing hole, let me tell you. But yeah, preparing for retirement, one of the things you have to get ready for is that restricted income. You're now on retirement income. Preparing for retirement, how much do you need to live when you're in retirement? What lifestyle do you want? In fact, towards the end of in my book, My Money, My Way, I did a whole chapter about investing in yourself and what that looks like, and how to have a really strong investing foundation. I highly recommend that you read that. Preparing for retirement. Can you review your expense trackers and how you start after each pay? Yes. I did a post here on Instagram about what my expense trackers look like after payday. Oh my gosh, that would be a helpful one. Yes. And I did a whole debt series article. Yes, on her blog. Yes, absolutely. Okay. I wish you had an easier version for people that have any type of disabilities. Okay, send us an email. Please expand on that because I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Absolutely. Okay, oops. All right. Yes. All right, let's see. I'm just trying to get to what do you think of savings challenges? I love savings challenges. In fact, we have a whole private Facebook group filled with thousands of people participating in our free savings challenges right now. I think they're very helpful. Here's the thing. I love a good no spend day. I do them in my own life. But I feel like no spend days don't really teach us what we need to know to be good savers. So no spend days versus savings challenges. The purpose of a good savings challenge, one, is making saving fun in our lives, right? It gives us that kind of motivation to continue throughout time. But it doesn't stop us from just reaching into our savings account and spending, right? So savings challenges and no spend days, I want people to understand there are other healthy habits we have to learn in order to be successful with savings. It's not just about completing the no spend day or the savings challenges. I will admit though, doing the savings challenges does teach you habit because you are doing something consistently when it comes to savings, especially if you're doing our challenges that say save every Friday, save every Wednesday. You are getting into the habit. Here's another thing, a quick tip about saving money. People always focus on the action of saving. What people need to be focusing on is the outcome of saving. What happens when you put your money into a savings account? What do you do with it? What happens after you take the action of saving money? Now what? Okay, you did it. Now what? You have to give your savings a purpose. You have to give it a name with a purpose. The reason I say that and why that is so important is because I want you to be fully aware of the consequences of spending that money when you decide to. What are you giving up to spend that money? I call it your trade-off dollars. What are you trading off to spend that money inside of that savings? Now, let me give you an example. If I'm saving money and I give it the purpose of Disneyland trip with my family, I'm saving this for Disneyland. And a couple months later, I noticed a jacket that I've been wanting is on like a steep discount for like $150. And I really want this jacket. I want to go pull some money from my Disneyland savings. The money is there. I'm not going into debt to get the jacket. The money is sitting there, right? This is the thing. This is the excuses we give ourselves. I'm not going to debt to get the jacket. My savings, it's there. It's just for another purpose. But here's how I want you to think of it. If I take the $150 out of my Disneyland savings for this jacket, I get the jacket, okay, I get that want. But what are you giving up with the Disneyland trip to spend that money and get that jacket? You're giving up maybe a few activities with your children. Maybe you're giving up a few months of waiting a little bit longer to take that trip. You have to think about what you're giving up when you spend that money. It's why I tell you to give it a purpose and a name. I want you to think through that decision and that consequence when the time comes of you wanting to spend it. This is one of the things that goes on top of those learned skills to be a good saver. Okay. Oh my gosh, I needed to hear that. I was this close to pulling money from my vacation envelope for a new Apple Watch. I mean, hey, I've been there, so I know. And I am the type of person, and I know this about myself, I give myself excuses on why it's okay. You know, it's funny. I do Peloton every day. And I always say, like, when I do it, it's like a good therapy session when I get done, because there are so many things that those instructors say that I resonate with. Like, one of the things that they were talking about is how you do one thing is how you do everything. God, that stuck with me. And so now when I think about like saving my money, investing my money, I'm dedicated and committed to the goals that I have. Anyways, okay, sinking funds have really helped us with vacation, so we're not unexpectedly spending to go on vacation. Yeah, sinking funds is another thing. Sinking funds is another thing. Recovering from bankruptcy videos, articles. I have articles on my blog about recovering from bankruptcy, especially your credit. What do you think about vacation clubs? Are they a waste of money? I personally wouldn't do them. I don't have enough experience and knowledge with them to say yes or no. I just know I personally would not do them. Can we start the BBP anytime during the year? Absolutely. It's completely undated. Completely undated. You can start it in any month, any time of the year. Hi, I'm new to this debt-free journey. What book do you recommend? I mean, which one of your workbooks? Okay, Budget by Paycheck workbook. That's what I would recommend if you are starting that journey of getting out of debt. By the way, high five, because just starting is the hard part. So good, good. All right, sinking funds have changed my life. Yes, it's one of the things that I teach and preach here at the Budget Mom. Sinking funds also was a game changer for me. Here's the thing that teaches you. It teaches you to prepare in advance for things you know are coming up. Everyone talks about having an emergency fund when it comes to saving money. What they don't talk about is all the other crap that you should be doing. And I did a whole reel about this on my Instagram. Your emergency fund is not enough. It is not. Think about how many things in the last year that have popped up in your life that isn't necessarily an emergency where you wish you had some money. I mean, I could go on. So what I've trained and learned to do, prepare myself is, our lives are not as unpredictable as we may think, right? They're just things that we don't prepare for, that we should, like, we know birthdays are coming up. We know we all know Christmas is coming. Happens every year like clockwork. Why aren't we preparing now? How many of us get to the holiday season, end up putting things on credit cards, end up saying, I wish I had a little bit more spending money. I wish I was a little more prepared. You can be. Heck, start 2 years early if you need to. Start as early as you need to. A little bit each paycheck. Prepare for those expenses you know are coming up. That's what sinking funds are for. And they are a game changer because the money is then available to you when the time comes when you need it. Instead of reactionary spending, you are intentionally spending. That's the game changer with sinking funds. So much in our lives, the decisions we make with our money is reactionary. You're reacting to a circumstance. You're reacting to an emotion. You're reacting to a situation. But what happens when we can flip the switch and instead be intentional? We're prepared. We have the knowledge and we know what's happening with our money. So all of a sudden we can be intentional and make decisions from a different place. Sinking funds helps you do that. Yes. Okay. All right. This is my second year. It was a great feeling last year paying it all in cash. That makes me so happy. Yeah, it's a great feeling when you have security. Absolutely. How do I get my husband to get on board with me to save? Okay, you can't. That's the simple answer. You can't change someone. You can't make someone do something they don't want to do. And that's really hard sometimes for us as partners and spouses to accept. I don't think I've ever, and maybe because it's just something I've known from previous experience going through a divorce and all the things, right? Life experiences. I know that I can never change or make my husband or partner do anything. They have to do that on their own. So you know what I do? I show them. I show them what I'm doing, the motivation I get from it, the progress and success I'm seeing from it. I share that excitement with them. And I hope that you have a partner that can celebrate those wins and excitement and success with you, where they're like, wow, maybe I do need to get on board a little bit with this. Obviously, it's working, especially when it benefits them as well. When you're in a marriage, when you're in a partnership, when you're in a relationship, you don't do this just for yourself. And that's one of the big things that I talk about in my book, My Money, My Way. I talk about how do you know when you find your why, your purpose for being on this financial journey? Well, one of the things is you realize how your why, your goal, your journey affects everyone that surrounds you. And you'll notice it. Because once you have that why and you start working toward that goal and that progress, you'll see how your decisions, your success, your wins, your failures, your thought process, your habits, your dedication and motivations Everything that you do trickles into everything else in your life. If I spend money from that Disneyland vacation, does it affect just me? No. It affects my son, my children, my family. If I pay off all my debt and I finally get to that place of being debt-free, does it affect just me? No. It affects the lifestyle and quality of life of the most important thing to me, my family. You may not be able to truly define your why right now and pinpoint it, but you will. As you go along on this journey, you will. If you're passionate about it enough and you care about it enough, you will. You have to tie it to someone other than yourself. It has to be bigger than just yourself. Why? Because then it gets to a purpose and goal where giving up is no longer an option, because you're not just giving up on yourself at this point. When you pinpoint it, when you discover your why, truly discover it, you realize when you give up, you're giving up not just on yourself, but on the people that you love the most. That is not an option. Your why has to light a fire under you. When you talk about it, you should get emotional. That's how much you should care about it. That's how much it should mean to you. If you don't have the right why. It's funny, you know, me and Ryan were talking about this today. Have you heard this new term called loud budgeting? Have you heard about it? Let me know in the comments. Have you heard about this? Okay. I read an article in the beginning of January about this. And here's why I didn't even pay attention to it, because I've been doing it since 2016 before they even coined the term loud budgeting. I'm like, oh, that's what they're calling it, because I've been doing that since day one. So loud budgeting is this term that was created in the beginning of 2024. It's this trend that kind of appeared about being super vocal about your financial circumstances, goals, values, and boundaries, and not being apologetic for it, not apologizing for it. It's kind of given this little sassiness to our financial journeys and circumstances and letting other people know exactly where you stand. There's a thing though, okay? Why do you think my book is called My Money, My Way? If that is not the perfect explanation for loud budgeting, I don't know what is. That's like the coined term of loud budgeting, my money, my way. It's doing things your way and not giving a freaking hoot about what other people think about it, because it doesn't affect them. Your journey isn't for anyone else but you and the people that it affects, period. And I've been teaching and preaching this since day one. I've been teaching and preaching about having money values and boundaries and not being afraid to put them in place and stay dedicated to them and honoring them. I'm like, so when I heard loud budgeting, I'm like, oh, we've been doing that forever. But I've gotten messages like, Nico, have you heard about this new trend, loud budgeting? Are you going to do it? And I'm like, oh, we're already doing it. But anyways, down a rabbit hole. So I do have some reels planned for loud budgeting, because there is one really important thing about this whole quote unquote trend about loud budgeting. And don't get me wrong, I 100% believe in it. This is why I teach and preach it and do it, right? It's why I really try to get people on board. I just don't know if it becoming a trend the way it is in the mainstream media is exactly the right way to go about it. But anyways, because I feel like there's something that this trend and all the media and everybody's talking about with loud budgeting has missed. There's something that isn't being talked about when it comes to this topic and trend that I feel is very important. I'm going to be sharing that with you in the next couple of weeks, and why I feel like it is something that needs to be talked about, because it's the underlying reason on why loud budgeting should and needs to exist in our world. Anyways. Okay, so are you going to save this live? You betcha. I'm going to save it here on my Instagram feed. I'm also recording it so I can put it on YouTube. All right. I use the debit card for a category. I have a cash envelope. How do I record that? Okay, so if you used your debit card, you can go about it a couple of different ways. If you have a checking account cushion like me, just put it on your expense tracker for your checking account. Let your cushion eat it. That's why I have my cushion, so I don't have to worry about taking cash from my envelope, going to the bank, replenishing my checking account. Now, if you're in that place, no shame, no guilt, because I was for a very long time where my checking account cushion was not there. Why? Because I was not in a place to where I could build one up yet. There's no shame of being in that place. So if you do need to go and replenish your checking account with the cash you pulled out for an envelope, totally fine. Do that. So how that would look is it would be an expense on your checking account expense tracker because you used your debit card. So it obviously affected your balance. But then you could put a line through it and say, don't count. You're not going to count that when you close out your budget because you're going to write it on your cash expense tracker. You pulled cash out of that envelope and you put it on into your checking account, which, by the way, what I like to personally do, I just write a line saying cash envelope. You can say cash envelope refill or reimburse or whatever on your checking account side. Those two cancel each other out, and the only transaction you have left is that spending cash transaction of cash. I know that was a lot. I'm sorry. It sounded confusing as it was coming out of my mouth, so it probably got confusing on your end as well. Here's the main thing to know when you're tracking your expenses. You are tracking the spending of your money, not the transfer and movement of money. Okay? You are concerned about the spending of your money, not about the transfer of money. So when you move money from one checking account to another, well, technically you're not spending, you're just transferring it, you're moving it. When you spend money from your checking account, but you are wanting to use cash, so you put it back into your checking account, putting the cash from your cash envelope to your checking account is moving it. You're not spending it, you're moving it. You want to track the spending of those dollars. So anytime you're questioning yourself, is this the movement or transfer, or is it an actual spending of my dollars? So for me, any money left in my account at the end of the month becomes part of my checking account cushion. I love that. It's a great way to slowly accumulate that checking account cushion. Absolutely. The checking account cushion is part of finding financial security in my life. It's one of the things that I do for financial security. I don't have to worry about overdraft fees. I don't have to worry about if a bill is higher than expected. It doesn't matter if I have to possibly do some online shopping that was unexpected. I have that cushion there to eat it. This is what helps me with that peace of mind from financial security. It's just one of the steps that I take. I missed your monthly YouTube videos with Ryan. Yes, that's the hard thing about her living in Kansas is she's no longer here to do them here at the house. Yeah. How do I account for a monthly credit card bill? Do I do it with the month I paid for it or the previous? Really great question. And I did like a 1-hour video tutorial going over this exact scenario in my Building Blocks of Budgeting course. If you started this year with a serious goal of not only improving your relationship with money, but seeing drastic and lasting change success with your finances, I highly recommend my Building Blocks of Budgeting course. There is no better time than now to get started. And I believe, I'll talk to Ryan too. I'm pretty sure we're going to be having another sale this year for my course. I'll make sure to announce that coming up. But I go over that exact scenario. Now, I post things when the transaction clears, not when it's pending, if that helps you. Okay, I don't have credit card debt, but we have 2 car notes. How do you determine what sinking funds are best when you have so many that you need to save for each year? How do you do that so it doesn't affect your other bills? 1, priorities. Your bills come first. always. What you have left over after paying your fixed expenses, that's what you have to use for other things. How do I save for so many things when so many things feel important? In fact, that's a title in one of my chapters of My Money, My Way. But here's what it comes down to. Listing your financial goals in order of importance and then putting them in terms. Short-term, medium-term, long-term. What are your goals that fit in each? So literally on a piece of scrap paper, put short-term, medium, long-term. Write your goals that fit under each one of those categories. 0 to 3 years be short-term. 3 to 7 years be medium-term. 7+ on years, long-term. Write your goals under there. But then I want you to take it a step further. Inside of each one of those terms, you have your list of goals. Order them in order of priority. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have terms, you have your goals, and you have those goals inside the terms ordered in order of importance. Why is that really important? Because when you're working on multiple goals, it's important to know which ones you're going to tackle first. And I always say, I know the number one piece of financial advice is don't work on more than one goal at a time, because then you're never going to make as much progress as you want to see. That's a crock of crap. Because most of the time, I'm just going to be honest with you, most of the time in your life, in real life, not perfect scenario la la land, in real life, you're going to work on more than one goal at a time. Whether you're paying off debt and get pregnant and then you're worried about maternity leave. Hello, my perfect example right here. I just had a baby 6 months ago where I had to start saving for baby expenses. Whether you have debt, but also know you're going to need a new car in a couple years. 2 separate goals. When you are wanting to save for vacation, but you also want to save for being a bridesmaid in your best friend's wedding. Whatever it may be, in real life, more than likely, you are going to work on more goals, multiple goals at one time, not just one goal. You're going to find that scenario happening in your life more times than not. So order them in terms, and then order those goals under the terms in order of importance. Tackle them in order of priority. So, example, let's say you have $100 after you're paying your fixed expenses, paying for your variable expenses. You have $100 left over. Your number one short-term goal is your emergency fund. You have a medium-term goal with needing a new car in the next 5 years. So your emergency fund, it's in your short-term goal. That's important. More important than your medium-term goals. And it's priority number one. So you're going to throw a majority of that $100 to that goal first, your emergency fund. Okay, maybe $70. The rest is going to go to that medium-term goal. Now, are you going to make slower progress on that short-term goal of your emergency fund? Sure. But this is life. You got to be able to make those decisions. So, okay. Sorry, I got going off. Okay. So, all right, I am going to answer a couple more questions here. Is the goal sheet in your book? Yes. Yes. Will you have small budget books? Yes, we will this year. Small versions. Ever thought of a business budget by month? Possibly. I've done an Excel business spreadsheet before. I currently use QuickBooks. I use it for both Now Pine Manor Naturals and for the Budget Mom. It's just easier for me to communicate with my accountant that way. But all the other principles, methods, and things that I'm doing with my personal finances that I teach and preach with the budget by paycheck method, I do with my businesses. I'm tracking my spending. I have my goals. I have that awareness. I have my categories. I have my list of expenses. A lot of those principles and that method and that process I apply also to my business life. Okay. Do you have any resources, or financial advice on how to start saving and starting the house buying process? Yes, I do. I have articles on my blog about that. If you are thinking about buying a house, the first thing I want you to determine is how much house can you buy? That's really important. You have to know how much house you can realistically afford. Now, I'm not just talking about the value, the price that you're seeing on the internet of how much the house is going to cost, because that's not the only cost of owning a home. You have to put in all those other, what we call phantom costs. You got your house insurance, you have your utilities, you have your maintenance. All these things play into the cost of a home. You have to figure that out first. Because then you can give yourself a realistic savings goal, right? Yes. Okay. Is there a difference between the triangle leverage planner and the happy floral? Nope, just the design. Yeah, our leverage planner triangle theme is only $10 right now. You'll never see another price like that ever again on the leverage planners. They're $10. That's less than what it costs me to make them. And I'm doing that just so I don't have to move them. It's me being lazy, so I don't have to move them to my new warehouse. What are the binders behind you? Oh, these up here are my vacation memories. That is the only YouTube video I have posted since my mom passed. It's my latest YouTube video up now about these exact binders that you see. Can you keep this live when I'm done with work and watch it? Absolutely. Okay, so it's been amazing. Oh, hi, I'm new here. How can I start building a budget and track my finances? Hi, welcome to the Budget Mom. Check out my Start Here highlight bubble. Okay, so before I get off, what I want to do for old and new, welcome if you are new here to the Budget Mom. I should, it's been a while since I've done like an introductory video reel about myself. I probably should, because let me tell you, where I am right now is not where I started. And if you're a longtime follower, then you know that. So how can I start? Check out my Start Here highlight bubble also, because that's going to give you all of my best resources and how to exactly start. Inside of our free resource library, there is a link in the bio of my Instagram. There you'll find my free resource library. It was completely redone this year and revamped. It's awesome, 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 awesome. There is a whole PDF packet that you can print out with exactly to the T steps to take on how to get yourself through this process. My process and my budget by paycheck method, the whole shebang. All the resources that I'm you cannot miss these resources. This is how you start. It's all there in the packet in my Start Here highlight bubble, free resource library. Also, inside of my link in my bio, there is a link to my free self-paced course on how to start a realistic budget using the cash envelope method. Take it. Take it at your own pace when you have the time. Dedicate yourself to it, because it will give you the tools necessary to start. I feel like it's a really good foundation, and then you can build up and watch as you go through and build up to more and more and more with what you're doing with your finances. So that is how to start. Okay, so is it better to budget by week or by the month? My husband gets paid once a week. I get my Social Security check once a month. It depends. That's what's lovely about this system. I give you the foundation, you build on top of it. You can choose how many times you budget a month, especially if you get paid multiple paychecks a month. So maybe because he gets paid every week, you're budgeting twice a month. Maybe at the middle and the end of the month with your paycheck, you can combine paychecks and do that. Okay. So much debt gone. I have recommended your budgeting to so many friends. Thank you so much. That means a lot, because we don't do a lot of marketing here with the Budget Mom. A lot, I would say all of our marketing is organic, word of mouth. And I like it that way, because to me, that is the best form of marketing. People being truly successful with the value that you provide them with your services. And that is what means the most to me. So Oh, that was a lot to go through, but I know your time is valuable. Thank you so much for being, this means so much to me. There is nothing I like more than being in real time. Sometimes I wish like we were in a room or like a stadium where I could see faces as well, because I love connecting with my community members. Before I get off, one more thing. I've gotten questions about my new broadcast channel. My broadcast channel is just there. You'll see it in my bio now, called Exclusive Updates. It's just there where I can share with you different templates. Like, I've been getting a lot of questions about where do you get your intensive and my movement tracker, my intentional movement tracker, like the blank one that they can use. It's where I'm sending those links that I don't want you to miss. Special updates, really important information. That way, it's not disappearing from my stories within 24 hours. You have direct access to that information. And I've been getting such great feedback. I think we're over 8,000 members now in that broadcast channel. It's just a place for me to share like those exclusive updates and links directly to you so you don't miss them. And don't worry, I'm not blowing up your messages. Truly only used for exclusive updates that I feel are very beneficial and helpful in your life. Okay, so I'll be posting this to YouTube. I also hope to be posting more of my morning type videos to YouTube as I go through and work out that process. Yes. People can also find the broadcast channel in their messaging aspect of Instagram. Just go to your messages. Yes. Who babysits Dante while you do stuff? I'm the babysitter. I am. This is it, is me. So I do a lot of baby carrying. Also, before, I just have to give a shout out. Say this without crying, to my amazing husband. There is something so amazing and wonderful and special when you have a partner that is supportive. I could not do what I do without him. To have a teammate on your side helping you. He understands how important the budget mom is to me, how it's an extension of my heart. It is my life. It is my passion. It is my legacy. Helping people with their money, with their finances, because I was one of those people that needed help. So he helps me a lot. He gets days off from UPS. He kind of let his manager know that, hey, I'm needing some days off. And so he's able to get more days off during the week. He watches Dante when I am doing a lot of this. So bless his heart, thanking him for being the best partner, because that's what it takes to make this work. So, okay. Thank you so much for joining me for this live. I'll save it to my feed. I'll save it to YouTube. And I'm hoping to do another live again soon. Thank you for spending your time. I'll see you next time.